Aloha, y'all. It's Moon Day, Monday, the 9th of June, named after the moon, ruled esoterically by the moon. The sun is in Gemini, the moon is in Scorpio, last few degrees, so it'll pop out into Sagittarius shortly. You'll feel that shift probably emotionally from intense to kind of free and adventurous. I'll reference the astrology as we go, but let's go ahead and talk about the cards I pulled. The Ten of Swords, the World card, and the Moon Day card from the Galactic Heritage is Blind Enthusiasm, number 42 from the Pleiades past timeline. So the main card of the moment is the Ten of Swords. Is actually, I think, ironically, based off of the Deacons and stuff, my card. My birthday is June 17th. So this is a Gemini card. But it's the Ten of Swords, the mind, the last moments of your mind, and kind of shifting. If you're a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, you're a sword. End of a way of thinking, breaking free from the person you once were, releasing things which no longer serve you, choosing responsibility, and reclaiming your power. On page 140, the Ten of Swords, I must evolve. The Ten of Swords usually depicts a person lying on the ground impaled by 10 swords. It indicates sudden and unexpected failure or disaster. Uranus and Taurus, trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Heavy stuffs. Uranus and Taurus is opposite the moon right now, right? So we're like, I don't know how I feel about all this transformation, but it's happening. I have chosen a different visual interpretation. A blow from life is being delivered with immediate ferocity, and there is no way to avoid its full force. There is no time for pain or regret. In this very instant, we must accept full responsibility for everything in our life. Our previous life is ended, right? Saturn and Neptune are conjunct in Aries, and the North Node also is trining the moon. So it's like we know we have to change. We know we have to transform. We're trying to emotionally lubricate ourselves for that transformation. The way it's manifesting is shocking us in the world. Uranus opposite moon, but the moon is trining Neptune and Saturn in conjunction as well as the North Node. So it's like, we know we've got to change. We know we've got a new dream coming. We know we've got to wake up from one and enter the next. It's like, hey, there's a sewer. Mario wants to go down. What's coming up? I don't know. I didn't expect this dark, level, but here we go. So, there's no time for pain or regret. In this very instant, we must accept full responsibility for everything in our life. Our previous life is ended. Only then can we shed the skin of our old life and become the master of our own destiny. Moon in Scorpio, trining North Node in Pisces. As Pablo Picasso said, every act of creation is first an act of destruction. If in this instant of crisis we do not choose to take full responsibility, we fall back into the drift of life, battered and bundled by the fickle hand of fate. In the artwork, we see the precise moment of choice, destruction and creation, Sun in Gemini, Jupiter in the last moments of Gemini. We have choices here. Two figures, part man, part genie, reel from the surprise assault of falling swords, Uranus and Taurus. One bleeds, dying from the many wounds which puncture his body. He reaches out to touch the other, transferring his life force, right? Venus and Taurus. It's like, take my value, take my wealth, take my life. The other figure is stronger, capable of defending himself. He sends a bolt of energy to halt the impending fall of the sword. The genie essence illustrates the phenomenon that despite being magical and powerful and able to grant wishes, Sun in Gemini, genies hide in the niches and nooks of the world in lamps and containers, Moon in Scorpio. They only emerge for people worthy and curious enough to find them, Jupiter in the last moments of Gemini. Similarly, our true creative power can remain hidden from ourselves and everybody else, locked deep within our mortal bodies in the patterns of our lives, never to be released. It's the shadow of Venus and Taurus, right? The shadow of Neptune conjunct Saturn in Aries. It's like we get very stuck and rigid, and it's like we have to expand. The Ten of Swords represents the sudden, unexpected jolt which pivots you between full responsibility and the drift. The key is to be ready, to choose responsibility and rebirth in that instant. And the answer, as always, practice and preparation. Give up the blame, the pointed finger, the moaning and the groaning, right? With Mercury and Cancer, we can play victim, and Saturn conjunct Neptune, yeah, but Scorpio moon, we could be like, it hurts, right? The key is to be ready and choose responsibility and rebirth and not be blaming and pointing fingers and moaning and groaning. Practice being response-able. When we claim our life for ourselves, we claim the power to change it into something extraordinary. We reframe the good and the bad as feedback, edging us closer to our dreams. North Node in Pisces. We can make our dreams come true, but we're going to have to work for it. Neptune conjunct Saturn in Aries. And that's all trining the moon, so we know we got to transform and change. The end of a way of thinking, breaking free from the person you once were, releasing things which no longer serve you, and choosing responsibility by reclaiming your power. The major arcana clarifier is the World card. It's the last card in the Fool's Journey, I wrote music to all the major arcana. So this is called Holofractal Epiphany, the song I made, and it's got haikus that are pretty surreal and a lot of cool, interesting little beats and psychedelic stuff. On page 64, the number of hexagrams of the I Ching, the World card. Universe, I am your beloved conduit for the radiance and grace of life. Notice how this guy is looking at these avatars being punctuated. It's like a video game player watching from outside the arcade. Ultimately, we are watching our avatar in the world in this matrix play a game. So, an auspicious period, you have achieved success in your endeavor, walk in harmony with Mother Earth, gather your tribe, and give your best. Right? I think we have to remember that we're in a dream, an infinite fractal, holofractal dream, and it just keeps looping, and it's going to go in circles until we punctuate. It's always kind of looping, but it's like, does it loop this way? Does it loop like that? It's corkscrew. And that's a matter of changing perspective. This even makes a corkscrew, right? It's like, and it's like, do you want just the record to go to click, to click, to click, like that when the record is over, it just loops? Or do we want to put the needle on the next groove? Groove is in the heart. Mars and Leo, trining your Venus and Taurus. Groove is in the heart. We got to change our hearts and our minds to make the change possible. Blind Enthusiasm, page 42 in the Monday wild card Galactic Heritage deck. 42, as any Hitchhiker's Guide fan would know, is that life, the meaning of the universe, and everything. So number 42, Pleiades, Blind Enthusiasm, past timeline. This is Jupiter last degrees in Gemini, Sun in Gemini, shadow. A habitual pattern of the Pleiadians when they were a young species was to become very excited about an idea and implement it without thinking it through. What are the far-reaching implications of these actions? Who benefits and who is hurt? Take a good look at the times you may have done this in your current life. In the eyes of the universe, there are no mistakes, right? In the sense, in the final analysis, it's all good. But it's like, do you want to keep looping or do you want to punctuate? Like, you have a choice here. However, everyone has the responsibility to see beyond their own excitement and try to make choices that support the whole rather than simply the ego's desires, right? Chiron and Aries. It's like, don't just do what you want. Chiron and Aries training Mars and Leo. Don't just do it because you want to, like, have an enthusiasm that includes the awareness of others. Mercury and Cancer. Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. This card connects with other cards. It refers to a time when the Pleiades were a young species and very idealistic, enthusiastic. Like a big puppy, they often excitedly bounce from one plan to another without thinking things through, sometimes offending or hurting those on the other end of their plan. This is a quality of most young people and species, and through lessons learned, we eventually grow out of it. The Pleiadians today still have a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, but it isn't so blind any longer. They have learned patience, Venus and Taurus. They have learned temperance and respect in regard to others, Mercury and Cancer. One of the significant signs of matured people or a species is that they can make decisions with their eyes fully open and never infringe on the rights of others, forcing a reality on others or becoming self-centered in their plans. Like, you know, whether you want to protest or not, it's like, how much is that infringing on the rights of people around you that don't even want to be in that circus? Being aware at a higher level like that. Yes, you can fight for your right to party, but are you destroying your neighborhood in the process? If this card has come up in your reading, look at the other cards to see if a Pleiadian karma or memory is yours. Are there other cards with similar themes? It may simply be a warning about your actions in this life as a human. Yeah, we've got to take action, but we have to be knowing what our actions are and they have consequences, right? We have to step into a new level in the dream, just like the dream in Inception is dissolving, so we've got to, like, get to the next level. It's like, oh, we're 3 levels deep, we're 2 levels deep, we're awake now. It's like, all right, we're waking up like that. We're going level to level. Ultimately all in one imagination, but we have to stop being blindly enthusiastic and just cheering for our team, and if they lose, rioting and burning down the soccer stadium. Like, that's not a good look. Right? We have to know that it takes an equal opposite in the chess game to make a game worthy of playing, which takes a level of genius, Jupiter last degrees of Gemini, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, Sun in Gemini, to even understand that kind of thinking. Like, most people are just like, you know, I, me, my, and my team. And it's like, well, you're going to have an opponent to have a fun time in a sense, you know, in a chessboard game way. So hopefully this all makes sense. We're all one thing, having a dream, right? Fractaling down, but do you want to keep looping or do you want to punctuate? And maybe some of that has to do with your jumping blindly into things without thinking through the consequences necessarily. So start using your head a little more in a grounded way. Venus and Taurus, Mercury and Cancer. So if you've enjoyed this, leave a tip. Holler for a reading. $50 for an hour of cards, $150 for 3 hours of astrology, half off if it's your birthday on either or both of those, and half off if you refer somebody to me for cards. You'll get half off on cards. So check out the song I wrote for the World card. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. I'll post the last episode up in the comments. We have one today with a death doula, but I don't have the link for that right now. So you can tune into that channel and see when we're coming out with stuff. And on that note, enjoy your moon day. Adios.